Lately, USA is getting scarier. Half of the Americans I see all hate America. They hate the cops doing their best to take care of us and kneel for the flag and salt the soldiers that we're burying. I'm tired of the pissing and complaining. Why you living in America if all you do is hate it? You think it's brave to take a stand against the nation? Real bravery is dying for the right so you can say it. Dear America, what happened to Americans? Apparently no one's aware or cares that it's embarrassing. It's arrogance. Our greatest enemy was always slavery and terrorists, and now it's people in the country trying to burn the heritage. I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different.
Well, what is going on, you guys? Welcome. It's Sunday, so you know what that means. It's time for politics and news. I have a very special guest with me today. This is my beautiful wife, Victoria. She's going to be joining us for this very special broadcast. So we hope you guys will stay with us. We're just going to be looking at some fun stuff mostly, but also some revealing stuff. Fun but revealing. So we're going to jump right into some of that. But first, just so you guys know, we've got some brand new merchandise. Baby, you want to show them that shirt you got on? This is really kind of cool. I like this shirt a lot. I got a shirt. How do I turn on this thing? I've got my logo now on the back of one of our shirts here as well. So we've got some brand new merch if you guys want. In fact, I got to give a shout out to my buddy Stoney up at Creekside up in Tennessee. Him and all of his boys up there doing that grassroots effort. A lot of work up there. They're trying to keep these communists out of office and help us get the man back in the White House. So, Stoney, we appreciate you up there, buddy, and we got you some brand new merch coming very soon. Actually, we're shipping that out tomorrow, so you should see that any day now. Right off the bat, we're going to jump into a fun video. This one, I really dug this video a lot. So, just a little piece of Kamala's America. Guys, if you're out there and you're on the dating scene, I would just say be careful. Just be careful. That's all. Just be careful. Looks like a fun time so far.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Woo! He lost lashes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he might have swallowed a lash.
He's choking on a lash.
That was so fun.
Be careful, guys.
I think this is hers.
I didn't see that coming.
So, again, if you're on the dating scene right now, be careful. Welcome, guys. We're going to look at a whole lot more right here on Southern Traditions on the Southern Drawl podcast. Let's get it. Well, welcome back to Southern Traditions here on the Southern Drawl podcast. So, guys, looks like we've got a big time debate coming up right around the corner. What are we, 2 days away from the first presidential debate? Well, not the first presidential debate of the year. Seen one of those, which ended disastrously for the Democrats. I'm guessing and wagering this one's going to end disastrously for the Democrats, too. Seeing as Kamala doesn't take any time at all to speak to the media. She does her little rallies, which are just full of propaganda, lies, and celebrities. And then she finally did an interview with one of the news stations where she basically talked for 15 minutes or 18 minutes, I think it was, for about hardly anything worth talking about. She dodged questions. The reporter asking her the questions, Dana Bash, she just softballed everything, didn't follow up on anything. It's isn't looking good, man. It isn't looking good for old Kamala here. So we'll see how it goes. I believe Donald Trump's going to mop the floor with her in 2 days, and it's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait. But word on the street is she's got another interview out. So we're going to take a look at that interview right now. This is from one of my favorite comedians and political commentators, Mr. J.P. Sears. We're going to be going out to Texas here in 2 weeks, to see J.P. Sears live at a Awaken for Freedom event. I'm excited for that, man. I really hope we get to meet JP. JP, if you're watching this, if you happen to see this video, buddy, please give us like a minute of your time. We'd love to meet you. Be really cool. In the meantime, let's see how JP's interview with Kamala went. Kamala and her handler. Handler?
Emotional support dog.
Emotional support dog. Yeah, this was a good one here. Let's take a look.
You're drunk right now.
And that's not going to change.
You kind of have a drinking problem.
Start right out the
I
gate with the good
recognize the
ones.
problem.
Fair enough. Okay, we're live. Kamala Harris, welcome. And I see you brought your emotional support dog with you today.
Emotional support
Which is
dog.
great. Before I came in, your campaign staff out there gave me this list of really great softball questions that I'm allowed to ask. Help stay true to the spirit of journalism, so thanks for that. Thought I might stray from the list just a tiny little bit. Now, I think you'd agree this is an intense election. Like recently, your political opponent, President Trump, was almost assassinated. And I am sure y'all at the White House are working tirelessly to find out who orchestrated this whole thing.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Do y'all have any leads about who did it?
We did it.
What? Who did?
At least
Joe
she's
Biden
honest.
and I, to be honest.
Really? He was shot.
I'll say that that's good work.
Oh, that's... wow, I can't believe it. Do you feel any remorse?
No, not at all.
Oh.
There's more to do, but that's good work.
Wait, so you would try it again?
Yes, I would.
Seriously?
I would. I think
Well, obviously, the guy you used on the first try wasn't successful. So who would you use on the next attempt?
no one in particular.
But I'm sure you've discussed who it might be. Did you talk to Hillary? She have anything to say about it?
Oh, she had a lot to talk about.
No, I
Of
bet
course she did.
Of course she did. When did you talk to her?
It was a Sunday.
Good God, that's even more demonic. Tim, are you on board with all this?
I think people know who I am.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
we do, Tim.
You guys could go to prison for this.
Next question, please.
Oh, avoidance.
No, seriously, this
They're
is a
good at
big
that.
crime. This is a
Very
big
good at
deal.
it. Very good at the
One
avoidance.
more question on this, please. All right, your resting bitch face tells me you're moving on, so we shall. Let's talk about moving forward. You make a lot of great promises about what you'll do if you get into office. But you've been in office for almost 4 years, and most
let's
things
be
have
honest.
objectively gotten much worse. The border, crime, inflation, it's pretty bad.
Pretty much the
How
whole
could you
country
let this happen?
In large part, all of
Been
that
flushed
because
down the
of
toilet.
mismanagement.
Yeah.
Yes,
I guess that would be it.
100%.
That is the reality of it. And 4 years of being vice president,
But I'd like to imagine how you will do things has no correlation to how you've always done things. So if you do win this definitely not rigged election, what would you do specifically to fix all the problems in our country?
let me be very clear. When we
Nothing.
do what we have done, I believe
Not
it
a
is
thing.
very important that we take seriously what we must do and how it does so matters. And to do that, we can do
It's a
what
word
we have
salad.
accomplished thus far.
Word
but
salad.
I will say this. So I'm very clear about where I stand. My values have not changed. I kept my word and I
They
will keep
change
my
all the
word.
time.
When we do what we did, which is part of the American dream,
It sounds like a very well
Killing the
thought out
American
strategy. If you win, will that be like a bill you sign or something?
I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Very good. Now that we clearly understand how exactly you'll turn the country around. Tim, I forgot you were alive over there, buddy.
True, right?
As governor, the
Tampons.
accomplishment you're most known for is getting tampons
Tim is
into
whack.
all the boys' restrooms in
That's right.
schools.
We did it in Minnesota.
You sure did. And you did it when nobody else wanted to. People were saying things like, it's unnecessary or it's a stupid idea. But you knew the importance of it. And presumably,
does look
this
drunk
came
in
from
this
your
interview, by the
positive
way.
exposure to tampons
I thought that in the
during
original
your
interview with
formative
Dana
years
Bash.
as a boy.
She looks
What
absolutely
did it mean
wasted.
to you when you put your first tampon in?
It was just such a visceral, emotional moment that I'm grateful I got to
It would have
experience
to
it.
be.
I think history is going to show that in so many ways it was transformative.
Yes, I think we're all touched by Tim's bravery around tampons. But now let's close with some rapid fire questions. Kamala, who's the biggest dipshit you've ever known?
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, no, I meant the biggest dipshit you've ever known, aside from yourself.
I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now.
Right. Now, you've known the Obamas for a while now. Did Michael confide in you when he wanted to transition to being a
Big
Michelle?
Mike.
And the phone rang, and he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, "Are you sure?"
What'd he say?
That was nice.
And he said, "Yes."
Fantastic. Now, Madam Vice President, on the monitor, you can see you in the process of sleeping your way to the top by way of a photograph of you with Montel Williams and another side girl. Have you seen this photograph before?
But I did see that photograph, and I was deeply touched by it.
The left criticizes Trump for sleeping with side girls, but you are a side girl running for the same presidency. How does that feel?
It's very humbling.
The truth
Very humbling in
is,
many ways.
Do you have
humbling,
any
huh?
morals?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Fair enough. Kamala and Tim, you both come across so well on camera. Fantastic, actually. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and just be so interesting.
Thanks for
you.
having
Thank
us.
you, Dana. Thank you.
What? Tim Waltz is thanking me? What an honor. You know what, Tim? You're welcome. And thank you for all your service overseas.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So obviously Tim didn't actually serve overseas. So JP's bringing the heat with all the sarcastic comments there. I gotta say, JP, I don't know who does your editing, but good grief, my man, you made that look like a real interview. I know it's satire, it's a joke. Obviously, guys, it's just a joke. But these are true questions. I mean, these are true things we would like to see her answer. Some of these things that he brought up in this faux interview. One of the things I think that he touched on was number one, like, who's investigating the shooting in Butler? Are they taking that seriously? Are we going to get any answers, or is it just going to be another one of these things that gets hush-hushed and pushed under the rug and that we just never hear anything about? Quite honestly, I would doubt very seriously if the Biden-Harris administration is doing any sort of real digging. I know that there are some senators digging big time. Josh Hawley is on top of this. He is digging big time. There's apparently whistleblowers that he's been in touch with that are giving him inside information. As a matter of fact, we just found out via an interview or via whistleblowers with Josh Hawley, but also what's that other guy's name? Y'all tell me what it is in the comments. I can't think of it right now, but there was an independent investigation going on that discovered, and a report just came out, Secret Service didn't even take the first shot on Crooks. No, it was a local SWAT member that took the first shot and essentially incapacitated Crooks, or his ability to keep firing, when his bullet struck Crooks's gun, struck the gun in the butt of the gun. There's pictures of this that have been released that show that the buttstock was destroyed on the weapon, and essentially rendering the weapon unable to cycle extra rounds. So now this is pretty significant because this new guy in charge is adamantly told us that Secret Service acted quickly and within seconds neutralized the threat. That doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, the facts are telling a much different story now. And it's really a shame that we're having to hear this through senators who are doing the job of the FBI, the DOJ, the Homeland Security, and all the Secret Service, all these other intelligence and investigative law enforcement agencies that should be doing this job better and are just simply not. There's definitely something to that, and I think they need to look into that more. What would you think from the JP interview there? What was your biggest takeaway? What would you think the best question was that he asked?
Just saying, like, can we trust you?
Can we trust you? Yeah, I don't think we can, because she's proven over and over that her campaign is a basket of lies. I mean, every single thing they say seems to be contradicted in some way within days of them saying it. Seems to be found out to be attributed to someone else. What someone else? Donald Trump. Kamala seems to just want to be Donald Trump at this point. She's stealing all of his ideas, all of his viewpoints. She stole his tax on tips idea. She stole his, the one thing about the insulin drugs. Yeah, that's been proven that Donald Trump implemented that policy, and the Biden administration blocked that policy and then re-implemented it once they took office just so they could take credit for it. So essentially, they forced Americans to pay more for insulin for a period of time so that they could take credit for Americans paying less for insulin in the long run. I mean, just dirty tactics all the way around, and I just don't think people are buying it. But let's take a look at some more videos. We're just going to take a look at how other people are feeling about Kamala around the nation and some of the things that are going on and just some of the crazy that's happening under this administration right now. So one of the things JP accused Kamala of in this little interview there was essentially trying to destroy Donald Trump, her and her administration doing things. Now, they were attributing her to the shooting in Butler. But aside from that, let's be realistic. Has the Kamala Harris, or the Democrat Party of today, been trying to destroy Trump? I mean, we've seen everything from lawfare to fake trials to, I mean, just about every way they can think of to bash him and paint him a criminal, paint him as a sexual deviant, just about everything you can think of. But there's people weighing in on this now. We're gonna take a minute to get a little perspective from some of the masses out there. See how people are feeling about this. See what people are saying. Some of our senators, some of our congressmen. We're gonna see just what they have to say about some of this right now here.
President, no major candidate for president has ever been prosecuted criminally in American history.
It's a
Yet
sham
now we
trial.
have a situation where the incumbent president's major candidate, major opponent, is being prosecuted in 5 separate jurisdictions all by Democrat partisan prosecutors.
He's so crazy.
And all of this culminated right
that
in the middle
moment
of an election season.
Was
Does that
crazy.
sound to you like coordinated election interference, or is that just a coincidence?
That creepy smile.
Well, I'm not going to discuss pending state criminal prosecutions. That's not something I would ever do.
You're a piece of garbage,
get more
sir.
specific.
You don't discuss
What we saw
anything.
happened last week was Alvin Bragg, who ran on a platform of getting Trump, do just that with a flimsy made-up theory and a criminal conviction. Just this weekend, the leader of the Soros organization came out and advised Democrats to repeat the slogan, "convicted felon," so it could be imprinted on voters' minds. Alvin Bragg facilitated that imprint and did just that. Is that coordinated election interference, or is that just a coincidence that would happen?
Again, I, with all due respect, I'm not going to talk about...
Just days after President Trump announces that he's going to enter the election process, Merrick Garland appoints Jack Smith to prosecute Trump.
It legally appoints Jack Smith, by the way, and this FBI director is absolute garbage. The fact that he still has a job is something that should not be for much longer.
President Biden's opponent. Is this coordinated election interference to go after your opponent in a federal election using the Justice Department to do it? When Letitia James was running for New York Attorney General, she campaigned to get Trump. Does it seem that using the criminal justice system for a political vendetta is election interference, or is that just a coincidence too?
Again, I'm just not going to weigh in on pending state criminal
A lot of
cases.
coincidences
Who's going to investigate it? Who's going to look into this?
that are not coincident.
Again, I'm not
Yeah,
going
who is
to
gonna investigate
talk about
this
who
stuff?
we
That's really
are
the
or are
question.
not investigating, because that's not something that's appropriate for me under DOJ rules. I can tell you that we are going to do our part, and we have up one part in protecting our elections from the threats that we have jurisdiction to investigate.
I just stepped through a number of situations where it certainly appears that there is a coordinated effort to go after the president's main political rival. All of it is coming together right at this point in time.
That's not appropriate.
So as you can see, these guys are getting questioned big time on some of these issues, and as well they should be, because it seems that there is definitely something going on here. You know, we've seen the removal of Biden in what can only be described as a coup, like a communist coup. We've seen lies to the American people. We've seen just blatant, outright political attacks on their political opponents, on not just Trump, but on other Republicans as well. And you've got people in high places who are absolutely coming out against this at this point. Kamala doesn't seem to understand anything about the Constitution or the way that this process is supposed to work. She just seems to be going along with whatever is popular at the moment. Let's take a look. If you still don't believe there's lawfare involved, if you still don't believe this is politically motivated, let's take a look at this clip here. This one might change your mind.
Stacking charges and rearranging things just to make the case is nonsense. It's a perversion of justice. To make him a convict, a convicted felon. It affects his candidacy if he's a convicted felon. It's a travesty of justice, a mockery of justice.
Let me be clear about something on the outset. The person you'll be watching today is not the bad guy here. Unwitting whistleblower? Yeah. Nicholas Biasi is the Chief of Public Affairs for the Department of Justice's Southern District of New York. Something you may be familiar with, and the most prominent federal trial court in America.
Those felonies did nothing to stop.
Now, understand what that means. Essentially what he's telling you here is this is a guy in a very, very high office within the DOJ. This man is highly qualified. He knows all the players. He's connected to all the players. So the things that he says, they carry a lot of weight. Now, obviously, Mike Biasi, or Biasi, however you pronounce his name, would absolutely not be spilling these beans just to do it. He would not want to expose himself or the government's intentions in this way. But here on July 31st of this year, well, Mike was flirting and got caught. So let's hear what he has to say here.
Running.
No, in fact, they made him more relevant.
Did that backfire?
Sure did. And the whole thing is disgusting. They're just out to get him. And that's why, he's surging in the polls. It's a perversion of justice. He was stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it.
Oh, sorry, Nicholas Biasi. I said Mike. My bad. Nicholas Biasi.
Levels like the Wild West. They're like idiots. They don't care. They're all political. So yeah, this guy's probably going to try to lock him up, and it's going to be ugly. They're so obsessed with getting him.
Why is that?
Who is they?
Yeah, you say, why is that? That's a great question. So there's obviously a reason these people are so hell-bent on not losing power, but it's not even about not losing power. I believe if this was against any average Republican, yeah, they'd still be fighting, but it wouldn't be like this. We would not be seeing the great lengths they're going to. This has been going on since the very first time he announced his candidacy running for president way, way, way back in 2016. So why? Why has it been 8 years of just outright trying to destroy a man? What do they fear so much about Donald Trump? I mean, he's been in office already. He did 4 years in the White House. It was a fantastic 4 years for the country. He didn't destroy the world. He didn't do any of the things they've told us he's gonna do. But I think at this point they're scared, and they're running scared because I think that they're scared he's going to bring down their little organization, their little. And here's the real thing. When he puts out a message on the social media that says, I am going to prosecute everyone who has broken the law, and then they get all mad about this. Well, shouldn't the president be concerned with making sure that lawbreakers are prosecuted? I mean, shouldn't that be a top priority for our leadership in this country, to prevent the outright breaking of this country's laws? The fact that they're so angry about this almost kind of suggests that they're guilty of something. I don't know, some of you are going to be like, well, what about you? What about him? He's guilty. He's guilty. I would just say, listen to what this man's saying. Listen right now to what this guy's saying, because I think it leads to what we've been saying on the right this whole time. This is a sham trial with trumped up charges, to be clever with my words. and also for no other reason than to destroy a man's character. They have made up rules or laws, rather. They have made up crimes.
Which backfired, by the way.
Which have backfired and continue to backfire, because the more that they continue this outright illegal prosecution and these attempts to interfere in the 24 election, which is election interference, the more he gains from their efforts. The more the American people are opening their eyes, not woke, but awake, seeing exactly what it is it's going to, seeing the fact that there is some effery about. But let's hear more from Nicholas Biasi.
Who I've known for 15 years. He used to work in my office. Before he decided to prosecute Trump, did you know who he was? You do now. I'm not sure what he
Yes, and Trump's pointed that out so many times. When people go after him like that, they become famous, well-known, and that their careers skyrocket.
Yes.
That's what he did. Nobody's ever been charged with this.
Nobody's ever been charged with this.
Until him.
Mr. Biasi is just saying the quiet part out loud. The part that unfortunately matters. Lawfare? Yes. Why? Because Biasi openly says so. The ones from Alvin Bragg are a particular perversion of justice. How do you know? Because Biasi says so, and he's known him for 15 years. Election interference, at this point, is there any doubt?
Are those even actual felonies? Because I was pretty sure that...
He was stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it fit a case. No, to be honest with you, I think the case is nonsense. Every real estate person in New York does what he did. Nobody's ever been charged with this.
Nobody's ever been charged with this. This is a federal prosecutor talking right here about the perversion of justice at the hands of a state prosecutor.
No, in fact, they made him more relevant.
Did that backfire?
Sure did.
And that was that Alvin Bragg's choice to do that? Or why?
Because Alvin's very ambitious.
What do you mean?
He wants to be, something. I don't know what. Mayor. I'm not sure what he wants to be, but I know he's not happy just being the DA of New York County. So this is like before he decided to prosecute Trump. Did you know who he was? You do now.
What was the point of even doing it then?
So right there, he says, did you even know who Alvin Bragg was prior to this attempt to prosecute Trump? Well, you do now. Now, why? Because he wants to be something bigger than what he is. He's not happy being just a New York prosecutor. He wants to be more than that. I don't know, a mayor or something like that. Biasi here is pointing out something that is just absolutely incredible and takes a large amount of just huge cojones to even attempt, which is to make up charges to twist the law in such of a way that allows you to go after a former president of the United States of America. I mean, just the weight of that alone. And you know, I hesitate to think that this Alvin Bragg would have just gone on about this on his own, as he says it, ambitiousness, his own ambition to push him into or going down this road and attempting this whole thing. I think for Alvin Bragg to do this, I feel like there has to be some big, heavy-hitting players behind him, big people telling him what to do, how to do it, how to twist things, how to mold things, how to word things. I mean, and I think it's probably the same in every one of these court cases. Everything from Fani Willis to Letitia James. I think they're all, which by the way, Letitia James, guys, fun fact, look this up if you want to know just how messed up this whole thing is. She is actually guilty of the exact same thing that she prosecuted Trump for. The exact same thing. The difference is, in Trump's situation, there is no victim. There is no victim, so there is no crime. In her case, there actually is a victim that's seeking justice in the court system against her for essentially costing him a lot of money by overinflating the value of a real estate property. And then
Tish James, Letish, she's been busted. We're going to take a look at this over from the New York Post. And as I mentioned, Miranda Devine did the digging on this. And she published this, says Irish society, an unpaid loan, and the hypocrisy of Tish. It involves American Irish Historical Society and a Trump deranged Tish. There's a grand old building on Fifth Avenue, and we have Irish Historical Society in this building. There's this unpaid loan, there's a family dynasty, there's a theatrical production, and there's James. And so what's going on here? Well, it all began with this guy called James Doyle, right? He's this businessman, and he joined the board of this nonprofit, this Irish group. Now, over the years, financial mismanagement and misfortune, unfortunately, led to the building facing foreclosure. So in 2017, the board turned to Doyle, okay? The same Georgia businessman who came on, got on the board, loves Ireland, loves his people. So they say, hey, can you help us out? How about we give you a $3 million loan? And he was told that the Beau Arts townhouse, that this gilded mansion, was worth $80 million because it included valuable air rights above the building. However, the society only made a few payments, and Doyle soon found things weren't quite as they seemed. Now, the societal's financial woes and the dysfunction had reached a crisis point. And then guess who stepped into the plate? New York Attorney General. She cited a petition to oppose the sale. She said, whoa, any sale of a nonprofit had to be approved by her. So Tish steps in, you can't sell this place. She said, it's an amazing place, Letitia James said. She gushed to the Irish Voice, said, we had to save this building. One day people can come in there and enjoy it again, which was all very well, but Doyle, who loaned them the $3 million, needed to get that money back. He's like, I want this family to sell it so he can be compensated, right, and return his mortgage. Now, the AG appointed an interim board, and they tell Doyle, this guy who has this outstanding $3 million loan, they say, don't try to collect on your money and don't try to foreclose on the mortgage before July 2023. He initiated foreclosure proceedings, and then guess what? AG Tish, she opposed and blocked it. She claimed the mortgage was invalid. Sorry, you're a board member. You can't have a mortgage. That $3 million that you were owed, gone. You don't get that money back. Mortgage is invalid. That's because you can't now foreclose on this, and now it's our property. So basically, she just stole that dude's $3 million. There are uncanny similarities between Doyle's predicament and the notorious case that was brought against Trump. Apparently, Trump inflated the values of his property, right, to get a better mortgage. Now, although her office is now taking the polar opposite position of that. So the lawsuit says that Doyle was given, I guess, from Cahill and backed by James at some point, fraudulently inflated valuations of the townhouse. Oh my goodness. Saying that its market value is over $80 million. Cahill and the society's current president general, James, made representations to Doyle that the building had, quote, air rights and they could build up, right, which is important in New York. But in reality, nope, there are no air rights. The actual value is not actually $80 million. It's closer to $20 million. So Tish said, remember, no one's above the law, which should include Tish James, who actively aided and abetted in the art of the steal. Now, this organization fraudulently inflated the value of their building to induce my client to giving them a mortgage, which Tish James is now trying to help these fraudsters avoiding having to repay. The same theory, the theory of fraud that Tishy accused the Trump organization of engaging in, is identical to the fraud that she's aiding and abetting here. Now, James has come down on the side of the society against its lender, Doyle. That's an illegal mortgage. And yet, in her signature case of People versus Trump, she took the opposite position, holding that where an organization inflates the value of a property to obtain a loan, that's fraud, even where the lender was aware of the actual value and was paid in full. Shouldn't Tish be fighting for Doyle? Didn't he get screwed out of this because these fraudsters in the Irish society or whatever, this Cahill family, they screwed him, man. They took $3 million out of him, and Tish is backing him up. Parlatore points out, Trump's former lawyer, that the society inflated the value of its property to obtain a loan, just like Trump was accused of doing. But the difference here is that Doyle could not conduct the sort of sophisticated due diligence that Deutsche Bank did. Therefore, unlike Trump's lenders, Doyle did know the true value of the townhouse because he's not a bank. And Tish just ripped him off. So somebody did lose money in that case. Deutsche Bank didn't lose any money. They loved Donald Trump. They called him a whale client. And even more important difference is that Trump paid back every penny that he owed, but the society never paid back Doyle. And Tish is covering them up.
Yeah, just look into that, man. It is absolutely incredible that she went through with this the way that she did. But I guess when you have big players backing you, you can get away with anything.
to make him a convict.
Make him what?
A convicted felon.
What if he can still run for presidency and...
Yeah, but it affects his candidacy if he's a convicted felon.
I was trying to count.
It affects his candidacy.
I wonder how many are against him.
So it affects his candidacy. So right there, that's the quiet part out loud, as they keep saying, which is it affects his candidacy. That is election interference right there from the mouth of Nicholas Biasi. So keep that in mind. But you know what? Let's take a look more about Kamala. Let's see what people are saying about her individually here. I like this one. She has a fascination with school buses, not just school buses, just buses in general. This one's pretty interesting. Let's see. Check this out.
Would someone explain to me Kamala's obsession with buses? She was exposed today for bussing in fake supporters to her New Hampshire rally because, you know, no one likes her there. She rode a bus with Tampon Tim to go to the DNC. She's got baby murdering buses going all across the country with Harris walls all over it. As the borders are, she was bussing in illegals all across the country.
So she got exposed, by the way, on this whole bussing in supporters thing because she was actually bringing supporters from another state into the state that this rally was at, and they got angry because the buses weren't there to pick them up on time, and they had to wait. And so they started speaking out about it and getting mad that their bus wasn't there. So apparently they don't bring the buses around to pick these people back up until after after the rally's over, to make sure that these people stay there and can't leave the way that they did during the Meg the uncastrated male horse concert. So, yeah, let's look more at her bus obsession.
Remember how much she loved electric school buses?
No exhaust, no diesel smell. The bus has Wi-Fi and even USB outlets next to every seat. That's good stuff.
Buses are incredible.
And let's not forget,
we all gotta love something.
Hypothetical bus she drove over Joe Biden to steal the nomination.
Here's the thing. Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right?
I guess.
See what I mean? Would someone explain?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. She's got a weird fascination with buses, obviously. But let's talk to somebody who actually knows Kamala. That would be interesting. What do the people that actually know her and have worked with her, spent time around her, what do they think about her? And
but I got.
Let's take a look here. This is Judge Joe Brown. This one's interesting, guys. I'm gonna leave this one alone and just let you listen to Judge Joe Brown here. Judge Joe Brown. Let's take a look at that.
But I gotta ask you about Kamala Harris. How you feel about her?
She's a piece of shit. I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by shit.
I want to hear that again.
But I gotta ask you about Kamala Harris.
I love the way he says this.
She's a piece of shit.
She's a piece of shit. That's right.
I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by hiking up her hemline when she needed influence rather than researching. She's always tried to do the casting couch to get where she wants. Now, the problem is that'll get somebody to a certain level quickly, but you can't get past that level if you don't have competence and talent. So my thing about it is if I'm crude about it, in this city years ago, I used to represent a whole bunch of pimps and hoes, and I know a hoe when I see one. And I say this, I don't care.
He's being crude about it.
You do what you want to do if you want to have recreational sex.
Yeah,
but when you do the casting couch or anything else for professional purposes to get paid or advance, you a hoe.
You a hoe.
And she's old hoe. And the problem is what is she supposed to do? Somebody, one of her sycophant slaves comes up and unwraps her in a carpet naked at Putin's feet, and he says, oh, yeah, I'm Julius Caesar. He said, no, ho, I got better stuff here already. Plus, I don't want you anyway, you old woman. Get on up. You know, or Xi Jinping, is he supposed to be impressed? She's doing word salad. Well, we're here today because China and the U.S. are here today, and that's why we have to agree on what we're doing here today. Like, fool, what did you just say?
Yeah, what? What are you saying?
Did you say anything?
No.
Yeah, she doing word salad. She's a queen of the word salad. I'm wondering, are we going to see any of these word salads in 2 days when she's talking to Donald Trump? It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But some people are speculating that Kamala didn't just run Joe over with a bus, not this Joe Biden over with a bus. But she went even further than that. And, you know, I just saw a video recently. Joe had he had a interview or a press conference in which it was just very, very interesting, this press conference. I'm going to show you this if I can find it here. In the press conference, he comes out and addresses the media, but he's sitting at a small desk in a small room. I don't know where this room is. It could be the White House, I guess, but all the suggestions say it's not. But the thing that really got me was there's no presidential seal on this. There's no presidential seal in this room anywhere at all. There's not a presidential seal on the desk that he sits at. There's not a presidential seal behind him anywhere. Like, none of that. Generally, when the president of the United States is speaking, addressing the media or the nation in any sort of a way, there's a presidential seal on the desk or the podium or the platform or whatever he is talking from. Take a look at this and tell me what you guys think about this. As you can see, that desk right there has no presidential seal on it. And there's not one in the room. Anywhere. What the hell's happening, Joe? Are you still the president? Are you still the president, sir?
We're ready.
He don't look ready, does he?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, man. He just looks absolutely miserable. He looks like there's a problem somewhere. Look at that. Look at that desk. No presidential seal. I'm really wondering what's going on here. Have they forgotten about this guy? Did they remember that he is still the president? Or do we have this chameleon now as acting president? I'm starting to wonder. I guess we'll have to find out in the days that come. Oh, there's a good one right here. So as you might have heard, recently, what's her name? Dang it. Liz Cheney. She has endorsed Kamala. She endorsed Kamala. Who else? Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala recently as well. So the Cheneys have, still calling themselves Republicans, by the way, have jumped ship and have jumped on the other side of the aisle to support Kamala Harris. Now, that's interesting to me because this clip that I'm about to show you is, it's Liz Cheney telling us exactly how she actually feels about Kamala Harris. Take a look at this.
As somebody who is a centrist, and in one fell swoop here, he has put somebody on the ticket whose voting record in the Senate is to the left of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. So I think that, the American people are going to look at the substance of this. They're going to look at what she stood for in the past. They're going to look at what she said during the primary election. And it's very clear. She is a radical liberal. She's somebody that has said we ought to spend $32 trillion on Medicare for all. If you look at her record as well in California, she did, in fact, essentially ban gun sales with executive action. And she threatened during the primaries to do the same case as some.
So she's essentially calling her a radical liberal here and pointing out the fact that Kamala does not honor the Constitution of the United States as a politician. Just does not honor it in any way. She's a radical. She's a chameleon, guys. She is lying to us. Do you not think she's lying to us? Well, let's hear what Bernie Sanders has to say about Kamala. Is Kamala a liar? Bernie, tell us what you think. Where's my Bernie video? Let's see here. Because I think this goes a long way here to hear what old Bernie has to say.
Described Vice President Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare for all. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator,
now, she said in the interview she didn't flip-flop.
Campaigned on. Do you think?
Kamala said in the interview with Dana that she did not flip-flop on her beliefs or her issues. She just no, I haven't done that. I haven't done that. Well, let's see what Bernie says.
Think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election. My own view is slightly different.
Whatever
I
it takes to win.
That in America today, there are a lot of people, rural people, working class people, who no longer believe that the United States Congress and government represents their interests, too dominated by big money interests. So I think that there is something wrong, personally, when we are the only...
Described Vice President Kamala.
What do you think about that? I mean, do you think that does that give you a lot of hope in a person that's
no
just willing to flip-flop back and forth on her issues? Or is she, here's the real question. Do you think anything she's saying is true?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that
she's truthfully lying to us in the craziest way possible to say exactly how she feels and to turn around and notice it's not going to win anybody's vote. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the vote.
I'm going to tell people what they want.
Do what I believed in to begin with. I told you what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't lying about that. I just need you to get on board with what I'm going to do.
Kamala essentially said that in her in the interview with Dana Bash. She said, yeah, I'm standing for these things, but I have not flip-flopped on my issues. So essentially, she says in the same sentence, or answering the same question, she says, yeah, I'm telling you what you want to hear, but I'm really the same person that you've known me as all along. So, and I think Bernie just confirmed that right here by saying exactly what he just said. She's trying to be pragmatic and do what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
Not just to do what's right for our country and our people and our nation, just to win for her agenda.
I'm willing to tell you whatever you need to hear to vote for me. That's essentially Kamala's stance at this point. And some people say that, oh, that's not true, right? That's not true. She's not who you think she is. She's actually, okay, well, here's what I would say to that. Let's just take a look at how she flip-flops back and forth on some of these things she does. This one was absolutely incredible. I know most of y'all have probably seen this by now, but I just think it's worth seeing it again and again and again because it just points out how fake she really is. She is incredibly fake. Yeah, she's incredibly fake. Check this out.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Wow.
Thank unions for sick leave. Thank
Same day.
Unions for paid family leave.
Same day.
Thank unions for your vacation time.
Her accent just changed.
Completely.
When does the vice president have what sounds like a southern
Now
accent?
KGP going to gaslight us a bit.
What you're talking about?
Well,
I mean, this is.
She was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that
Same
you think?
line.
Okay, Peter.
That she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a southern drawl.
I mean,
What?
do you hear the question that you're? I mean, do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question?
100%.
Yeah,
It's
100% it's important. We would like to know who this person is, and we'd like to not be lied to, and we'd like to not see the acting continue any longer. We'd like to get something real. We'd like to hear something legitimate. All this fake.
Meaningful. We need meaning. We need action.
But everything's fake. Everything's fake. It's all scripted. It's all made up. It's all dramatized. I mean, she's a good actress, though, right?
If she was a good actress, I think she'd be more believable.
Okay, she's not even a good actress. I can't even give her that. That's sadly, I cannot even give her that. Oh man, and there's people picking up on this as well. I saw this gentleman attended a Harris rally, Harris rally, Harry rallies, and it affected him. This man was a Republican prior to going to the Harris rally. So check this out.
I went to a Kamala Harris rally, and it was weird because a conversion happened, a transformation. Something started welling up in me. It sort of bubbled up, and suddenly I wanted to thank a union member for my paid time off. I wanted to thank a union member for my 5-day work week. I wanted to thank a union member for my sick leave. I wanted to go out in the street and teach everybody how I make my collard greens in a bathtub and how we got it done in 2020. And we're going to get it done again.
That was the craziest thing that she explained how she did that in a bathtub.
These words were coming out of me like I was speaking in a strange tongue. And suddenly, I was looking in my purse for my hot sauce because I done got in a fight over a fried chicken sandwich at the Popeyes, and I thought, my God in heaven, what in the world is happening right now?
What is happening?
It's like I'm a different person. Wow, the power.
He was a different person later that same day.
He was a different person all of a sudden, wasn't he? He just completely changed on us. That's the impact that she has on people, man. She's incredible. That's what she does. She is just changing hearts everywhere she goes. This is a good one here. You guys might remember this movie. It was a fantastic movie. I loved this movie, and all of a sudden, it got a lot of pushback here in the last decade or so. But I think it's still a good one. It's Kamala Harris to a T.
Back before the war broke out, I was a saucier in San Antone. I bet I could call up some of them greens. Yeah, noodle some crawfish out the patio. Maybe some crab apples for dessert now, man. Yeah? Hey, yeah. Ha!
Whoever she needs to be, right? Whoever she needs to be, she will be whoever she needs to be. It's really a shame. We got so much going on in this country. But let's take a look at the other side of the aisle a minute. Oh, hey, wait, first, more hypocrisy. Can't leave this one out. Almost missed it. As she continues to lie to us.
It's our undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit crime.
Reports show migrant crime is making up the majority of arrests in New York City. In fact, police report as many as 75% of the people they've arrested in Midtown Manhattan for assault, robbery, and domestic violence are illegal migrants, according to the New York Post. 60% of those arrests of migrants are in Queens.
Just remember, guys, if she's laughing, she's lying. That's just the way it is. If she's laughing, she's lying. Yes, she is. And we know she does a whole lot of laughing, doesn't she? So they tell us that there's nothing going on around the country, that everything's fine, except we just got to keep this Donald Trump out of office. Well, why do they want Donald Trump out of office? He said some things here recently that are pretty interesting. Let's hear from DJT on some of the promises he's making and some of the plans he has for America. This is Trump telling us that he's going to bring back free speech in America. What do you mean bring it back? Don't we have free speech in America? Don't we?
I mean, I guess if you take away the shadow bans, that whenever they don't like the truth that's being told.
Who's being shadow banned?
Well, I mean, we've been shadow banned. I know a couple other people
We're being shadow banned.
Being shadow banned. Like if it doesn't fit their narrative, then they just don't want that stuff to be mentioned. The algorithms just aren't matching up. So your content might be out there in the ether, but nobody's going to find it. Nobody's going to come across it. So
on top of that, it's not just the shadow bans. It's also the fact that the propaganda that's being pushed is specifically to prop up the Democrats and Kamala Harris and to dissuade the masses from anything Trump related. I bet by now most of you have seen the old Amazon
The Alexa was totally
debacle.
just thinking that.
I could show you videos, but all you got to do is Google it. There's so many of them out there. I actually was going to put some of those in here, but man, there's so many at this point. It's not even worth it. I will tell you this. We were going to shoot a video ourselves of the Amazon Alexa and its propaganda, but they've changed it. So I guess once it went viral, they were like, oh, oops, we didn't think people'd notice. And so they reprogrammed it to not do that anymore. So at least it's not doing that anymore. But doing what exactly? Well, people were asking Alexa, why should I vote for Donald Trump? And it would say, well, I don't give political advice on individual candidates. And then they say, well, why should I vote for Kamala Harris? And it would say, well, because Kamala is amazing. She is so awesome. And she's the first woman of color to be the president. And she's this and she's that. And she's, oh my gosh, I thought you didn't give political advice. Then you could ask it, hey, why should I not vote for Donald Trump? And he'll go, well, Donald Trump is a criminal and he's this and he's that and he's horrible and people think that he's going to destroy the world. And then you can say, why should I not vote for Kamala Harris? And Amazon would say, we don't give political advice on individual candidates. Come on, Amazon, get it together. We figured you out. We caught you. We called you on your bullshit. I guess you fixed it for now, but shame on you for letting that be the case at all to begin with, man. Come on. What are y'all doing? Why are you playing this politic game? Stop it. Stop it. All right, here's Donald Trump speaking at a rally just a couple of days ago, actually.
Second, I will bring back free speech in America because it's been taken away. They've taken away your free speech, and the fake news is a threat to this country. They are just horrible. These are horrible people. Not everyone. I mean, I know most of them up there. Some are good. Hello, Brian. No, some are good, and most of them are just absolutely terrible human beings. They know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they'll write today? But look at this crowd. It goes from corner to corner. It's I flew over it. I said, that's a lot of people down there. And you know what they'll say today or tomorrow when they write? Donald Trump spoke today in Wisconsin before a small crowd of people, a small gathering of people. They are just so bad. I don't know. It's it's really hard to turn it back around unless they used to be like the police force. They'd write the truth, but they're no longer the police force. They're the police force for opposite. They're a police force for bad. They're bad. They're bad people, and they're very dishonest. And a lot of people don't understand. When you're a politician like these people, like me, like others, and you happen to be a Republican or somewhat conservative, they write just the opposite of what the facts are. And if you're driving a cab, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, if you're something, other than that, you don't know the details. When we know the facts and then the story gets written the exact opposite of what it is, you start to lose faith in the press, I will tell you.
But
I will sign an executive order banning any federal employee from colluding to limit speech, and we will fire every federal bureaucrat who is engaged in domestic censorship under the Harris regime.
Get it done, sir. And that's what needs to happen, folks. That's what needs to happen. We need this country to come together, united against evil. We got to see that happen. And we hope it's going to happen very, very soon. November the 5th.
Go vote.
I hope you will go vote. Please, go vote. Turn out en masse. Guys, don't fall for these antagonistic attempts to get the right to rise up. I know that's what they want us to do, and I know some of you guys you're at your boiling point. I get it, man. Look, we're all there. But calm down. Be peaceful. Be peaceful. That's what we got to do right now. We got to be peaceful and we got to just wait. Because they want us to screw up. They want us to mess up. They want to have any reason at all to turn the United States into London, to the UK. Thank goodness for the Scottish and the Irish that are that are fighting against these atrocities and trying to take their country back. But at the same time, man, we can't have that be the case here in America. So we got to stand firm and we got to do the right thing in November. Stay calm. It's almost here. Don't let them push you over the edge. Just listen to Donald Trump here.
We have to have law and order. We have to respect our such a thing happened where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace.
Gotta have
so go
peace,
home.
guys.
We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace. We have to have law.
So we have to have law and order. We have to be peaceful. We have to not let them tempt us to whatever it is they're trying to get us to do. Guys, we know better. We know that this is all going to come to a head, and we know that the way to beat it is to turn out and vote. So with that being said, guys, that's all the time we have for you here today. We ran a little long. I apologize, but I'm trying to make up for the fact that we weren't here last week. We had a bit of a family health emergency we had to take care of, but all is good here. We're all healthy and safe, and we can't wait until November the 5th so we can go cast our vote for freedom, for this country, for the good of this country, for the future of this country. Don't let them lie to you, guys. Don't let them take your guns away. Stay free. I mean, we got to stay free in this country. Don't let them trample our Constitution, guys. That's the most important thing. I keep saying, I keep hearing these Democrats say the Constitution's not set in stone. It's not set in stone. It absolutely is set in stone. It is the bedrock foundation upon which this country was built, and don't let them tell you otherwise. They would
only not set in stone when we allow them to take it away from us.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And when if they can take it away and they can chip away at it and change it and reshape it and mold it in their own vision, man, then we're already screwed beyond screwed. We're going to be in big trouble here in the future. So I envision a future for my children that's as free as the one I live in. Well, one I grew up in, rather. We're seeing those freedoms under attack today. So let's make sure we turn out en masse on November 5th and we vote. And we vote and we show them where our hearts lie, where we stand on these issues. We show them that we're not going to be pushed around, man. We're going to stand for what we believe in. That's all the time we have for you guys. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this time with us and my beautiful wife here. She's the one that's usually behind the camera making all this stuff work for us. We'll be back on our main set, which is actually right there tomorrow, next week, I guess. We've got Tuesdays coming up, by the way. We're going to be doing Tuesdays where we do more of this type of setting. Was kind of a test run for our Tuesday shows that we're going to be doing, where we just talk about more fun stuff. We're going to keep politics and news on the Sundays. We're going to do Tuesdays where we're going to just have some fun, talk about some more fun, more enjoyable topics, and then Fridays, and I'm really excited for Fridays. Freaky Fridays, where we're going to dive into all kinds of conspiracy theories and ghost stories and Bigfoot tales and just about everything you think. I love that stuff. It's some of my favorite things to talk about. So we're going to be doing that on Fridays very soon. Hopefully this Friday. I'm really busy right now, aside from just working a full-time job because we have to survive. I'm also working on a lot of music. I'm a musician, so as you can see, Bloodwashed Records is our other business we have, is where we try to promote local musicians. You guys may have seen our other podcast with Ricky Horton, who is a fantastic musician. If you haven't seen that, check it out. I'll leave it in one of these little boxes that's going to pop up here. Check that podcast. That was a fantastic conversation we had with Ricky. Also good music. That boy's making some incredible music. So go check him out. Follow his music. Download his music. I've got some music coming out myself very soon. I'm in the process right now trying to shoot a music video for a song we're going to be releasing hopefully in the next few weeks. I don't know how long it's going to take. We're working on it, though, so we'll see. But stay tuned for all that, guys. A lot of exciting things going on, so we hope you're going to stick with us and keep watching. And like I said, we've got new merch, so if you're interested in any of that, message us. We're in the process right now of setting up our merch site, so we'll have it done pretty soon. But if you're interested in any of it, you can just message us here on YouTube or through some of the other apps we're on, and we'll be happy to chat with you about that and take care of that for you. In the meantime, be free, be blessed. Join us right here next week on the Southern Drawl Podcast on Southern Traditions. Peace.